Yo, hey everybody. So this morning I saw a post on the Facebook's Home Bicycle Mechanics page about worn rotors, brake components and such, and it seemed like there was quite a few guys that didn't really know about the whole minimum thickness thing. Right there, this is a Shimano rotor, minimum thickness 1.5 millimeters. And then this is a SRAM rotor. And as far as this, I made this video just due to this topic, but focusing mainly on SRAM and Shimano stuff because that's the most common. SRAM's minimum thickness is 1.55 millimeters, so a little bit more minimum, but you know, SRAM's rotors out of the box are a little thicker. Anyway, what kind of made me make this video is that I just bought this tool like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's a great little tool. You know, I got it to just use at the shop to measure. Folks come in, you know, we look at their rotors, and brake pads and chains are kind of the main thing when a bike comes in for a repair. So yeah, anyway, this is a super these are definitely a little more accurate as far as fine-tune measurements. Looked like this one was 1.885 right out of the box for a SRAM rotor, Shimano rotor right out of the box. This is just a basic one I pulled. It works with either resin or metallic, so that's kind of an important factor if you're choosing a rotor or setup or whatever. If you're putting a new rotor on, you want to make sure that's all compatible. But this Shimano rotor right out of the box came brand new rotor, 1.743. So anyway, this is kind of that original rotor that I had the picture of, and so it's definitely worn out. And so looking at the measurements on this one, it's, you know, I measured in a couple spots. That was 1.5 something, 1.14, definitely below the minimum wear line. And you know, it's kind of hard to see in the video. I tried to get it as close as I could, but it's really hard to see. But there's definitely the middle portion of that rotor. You can kind of see on those bottom edges the little spoke pieces that are, you know, wider than the middle part. But anyway, common tool. See this in bike shops everywhere. The old Park Tool DC1 digital caliper tool. And you can measure, you know, these are great for measuring seat posts or headset bearings, all kinds of different things, axles. But, you know, for measuring a real thin thing like you got this long, about a 1-inch portion you can get down in, you know, that little divot in the rotors, and you got to hold it in just right. And it's, you know, it's sort of accurate, but definitely not as accurate as the digital micrometer. The downfall to the Park Tool one is it's $75. You know, if you're going to have one tool that measures things, micrometer, caliper, whatever, this is a great little tool. Pittsburgh, you know, for $75 for the Park one, it's exactly the same tool. I've got one. I use the Park ones at the shop. This thing costs $22.99. So just throwing that out to you, little bone for all you home mechanics or whoever. Great little tool. So anyway, let's look at some brake pad measurements here. SRAM recommends 3 millimeters total thickness from the backing plate and the pad. This is about 3.4, but you know, as you can see, there's a deep groove in the top there, but they would still consider this to be acceptable. Shimano, they recommend half a millimeter of pad thickness, but I generally look at these things as far as the where the spring sets in there, and you know, I don't know how thick that spring is. It's probably between half a millimeter and a millimeter, and usually when I see it getting close to that spring, if I'm seeing bikes that come in, I'll replace them. This one to me looks close to half a millimeter, but obviously you can see where the little stud that mounts the pad material is starting to wear through. So yeah, I'd say anytime you just visually you see it getting close to that spring, you need to replace the brake pads. So, you know, I typically look at the pad to the spring thickness. You know, if you're really OCD, you can pull the pads out and look at both sides there. That's probably your ideal situation. This is my personal bike. You know, it's a mechanical Shimano. There's your backing plate and your pad material. So obviously you can see that the backing plate is probably 2 millimeters thick. So you can see we're really good there. On the other side, it's hard to see because the pad's kind of retracted up into the caliper. Most calipers, you can see both sides. But anyway, I'll usually look at it from just back in like that if I'm checking in a bike for repair. But anyway, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you're working on disc brakes, wondering if the pads or the rotor, how to determine the wear on them and so forth. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.